The last summer. The fire hydrant on 163rd Street erupted at exactly 2:47 p.m., sending an arc of water across the asphalt that caught the afternoon sun and transformed it into 1,000 tiny rainbows. Kids shrieked and danced through the spray while their mothers watched from tenement stoops, fanning themselves with folded newspapers. The temperature had hit 93 degrees by noon and showed no signs of mercy. Marcus Williams sat on the rusted rim of the basketball hoop, his long legs dangling, watching the scene below with the detachment of someone already half gone from this place. At 18, he'd grown into his height, 6'2" of lean muscle and sharp angles, his dark skin glistening with sweat. The acceptance letter from Columbia University was folded in his back pocket, creased from being read and reread so many times the paper had gone soft as cloth. Full scholarship, pre-law track, a ticket out. He hadn't told the others yet. "Yo, Marcus." The voice cut through the sound of rushing water and laughter. Tommy Ritchie jogged across the court, his white t-shirt already transparent with sweat, dark hair plastered to his forehead. Tommy moved like a boxer even when he wasn't fighting, compact, balanced, ready. "You deaf up there or what? Been calling you for 5 minutes." Marcus dropped from the rim, landing with a metallic thunk. "Just thinking." "Yeah? About what?" "Nothing. Everything." Marcus grabbed the basketball that had rolled against the chain-link fence, spun it on his finger. The leather was worn smooth, the pebbling almost gone. They'd been playing on this court since they were 9 years old. "Where's Ray and Miguel?" Tommy's jaw tightened, a tell Marcus had learned to read years ago. "Ray's at Sal's. Miguel," he shrugged. "You know Miguel, probably with Carmen. He's gonna get himself killed over that girl. Tell me about it." Tommy grabbed the ball, drove past Marcus for an easy layup. The chain net sang its familiar song. Santos finds out he's messing with his little sister. Miguel's gonna be swimming in the East River wearing cement shoes. Santos ain't the mob, Tommy. He's just another punk with a crew. Just another punk who controls everything from Webster to Prospect. Tommy rebounded his own shot. And who put 2 guys in the hospital last month for looking at him wrong? The water from the hydrant suddenly stopped. A beat cop, O'Malley, the Irish one who'd grown up 3 blocks over and never left, had shut it off with his wrench. The kids groaned in protest, but their mothers were already herding them inside. When O'Malley walked away, someone would just open it again. It was a dance everyone knew the steps to. Marcus checked his watch, a Timex his mother had saved 6 months to buy him for graduation. "Let's go find Ray. I'm starving." They walked the 4 blocks to Sal's diner in comfortable silence, the kind that comes from knowing someone since you shared crayons in Mrs. Henderson's 3rd grade class. The neighborhood unfolded around them in its familiar rhythms. Dominoes clacking on card tables, salsa music bleeding from open windows, the smell of sofrito and arroz con gandules mixing with car exhaust and hot garbage. Old men in undershirts argued about the Mets. A junkie nodded off in a doorway, his arms still tied off, and Marcus felt Tommy tense beside him. "That's Polly," Tommy said quietly. "Used to run track with my brother." Marcus said nothing. What was there to say? The heroin had been creeping through the neighborhood like a slow-motion plague, turning athletes into ghosts, honor students into thieves. Another reason to get out. Another reason to feel guilty for wanting to. Sal's Diner occupied a corner on 161st, its red vinyl booths and chrome trim, a throwback to a more optimistic era. The air conditioning barely worked, but it was cooler than outside, and Sal made the best meatball heroes in the Bronx. Raymond Tucker sat in their usual booth, his broad shoulders hunched over a comic book, The Amazing Spider-Man. Marcus could see the cover from across the room. Ray had the build of a linebacker and the gentle disposition of a librarian, a combination that had saved them from countless fights over the years. Nobody wanted to throw down with Ray, and Ray never wanted to fight anyone. "Look who finally showed up," Ray said, not looking up from his comic. His voice was deep and soft, like distant thunder. "Thought maybe you 2 got lost." "We were at the court." Marcus slid into the booth across from him. Tommy took the window seat, always watching the street. "Where's Miguel?" Ray finally looked up, his dark eyes troubled. "That's what I wanted to talk to you about. He came by about an hour ago, said he needed to borrow some money." "How much?" Marcus asked, though he already knew he wouldn't like the answer. $50. Wouldn't say what for, but he looked. Ray paused, searching for the right word. Scared. Miguel doesn't get scared. Tommy swore under his breath. Santos found out. We don't know that, Marcus said, but his stomach had gone tight. Miguel Rodriguez was the fourth member of their crew, the wild card, the one who'd always pushed boundaries just to see what would happen. Smart as hell, funny as hell, and cursed with the kind of reckless courage that got people killed in their neighborhood. Sal himself came over, a heavy-set Italian man in his 60s with flour on his apron and resignation in his eyes. You boys eating or just taking up space? 3 heroes, Tommy said. And information. You seen Miguel today? Sal's expression shifted, became guarded. Maybe. Why? 'Cause he's our boy and we're worried about him, Ray said. Come on, Sal. You know us. The old man sighed, pulled a rag from his apron and wiped a table that didn't need wiping. He was here, with Carmen Santos. They left maybe 20 minutes ago, heading toward Crotona Park. He leaned in closer, lowered his voice. Diego Santos was in here right after, asking the same questions. Had 3 of his boys with him. I told them I didn't see nothing. Marcus was already standing. We gotta go. Wait. Tommy grabbed his arm. We can't just run into this blind. Santos has guys all over the park. We need a plan. The plan is we find Miguel before Santos does, Marcus said. You coming or not? They ran. Crotona Park sprawled across 127 acres of green space that the city had mostly given up on maintaining. The grass was brown in patches, the playground equipment tagged with graffiti, but it was still the closest thing to nature most kids in the neighborhood ever saw. Marcus's lungs burned as they sprinted past the swimming pool, closed for repairs that would never come, toward the eastern edge where the trees grew thick enough to provide real shade. They found Miguel sitting on a bench with Carmen Santos, his arm around her shoulders, both of them laughing at something. For a moment, they looked like any young couple in love, innocent and unaware. Carmen was 17, pretty in a way that turned heads, with long dark hair and her brother's same intense eyes. Miguel saw them approaching, and his smile faded. Shit, he said. What are you guys doing here? Saving your ass, Tommy said. Diego knows. He's looking for you. Carmen went pale. He knows? How? Does it matter? Marcus scanned the park, looking for Santos's crew. We need to move now. I'm not running, Miguel said, and there was that stubborn set to his jaw that Marcus knew too well. I'm not some punk. I love her, and I don't care who knows it. You're gonna care when you're dead, Ray said quietly. Come on, man. Be smart. Smart? Miguel stood up, his hands clenched into fists. He was the shortest of the 4 of them, but he carried himself like he was 10 feet tall. Smart is what you all are, right? Marcus going off to Columbia. Ray got that scholarship to City College. Tommy's gonna work for his uncle's construction company. Everyone's got their future all figured out. Well, what about me? What's my smart move? The question hung in the air between them. Miguel hadn't gotten into college. His grades were good enough, but his family couldn't afford the application fees for more than 2 schools, and neither had accepted him. The draft notice would come soon. Vietnam was waiting. Your smart move is staying alive, Marcus said. Everything else we can figure out, but not if. He stopped. 6 guys had emerged from the trees, fanning out in a semicircle. Diego Santos walked in the center, flanked by his lieutenants. He was 22, built like a middleweight fighter, with a scar that ran from his left eye to his jaw, a souvenir from a knife fight when he was 16. He wore his power like a second skin, casual and absolute. Little sister, Diego said, his voice calm and cold. Go home, now. Carmen stood up, but she didn't move away from Miguel. Diego, please, just listen. I said go home. The temperature in his voice dropped 20 degrees. Before I forget your family. She looked at Miguel, her eyes brimming with tears, then turned and walked away. Her brother's men parted to let her through. Diego turned his attention to Miguel. You got balls, I'll give you that. Stupid, but balls. You know the rules. You know what happens when someone disrespects me. I love her, Miguel said. That's not disrespect. You think I care about love? Diego laughed, but there was no humor in it. This is about respect, about knowing your place. You're nobody, Miguel. A kid with no future playing around with my sister like she's some girl from the street. Marcus stepped forward, placing himself between Diego and Miguel. He's not nobody. He's with us, and we're not looking for trouble. Diego's eyes shifted to Marcus, and something like recognition flickered there. Marcus Williams, the smart one. Going to Colombia, I heard. Getting out of the neighborhood. He smiled. Good for you, really, but this doesn't concern you. He's our friend. That makes it our concern. Your friend is dead, Diego said flatly. The only question is whether you all want to join him. Tommy moved up beside Marcus, and Ray flanked Miguel's other side. 4 against 6. Bad odds, but they'd faced worse. Marcus's mind raced, calculating angles, looking for the play that didn't end with someone in the hospital or morgue. There's another way, Marcus said. Miguel stays away from Carmen. You let him walk. Nobody loses face, nobody gets hurt. Miguel started to protest, but Ray's massive hand clamped down on his shoulder, holding him in place. Diego considered this, his head tilted. And what's to stop him from going right back to her the minute I turn around? My word, Marcus said. I'll make sure he stays away. Your word. Diego seemed to taste the phrase. The word of a guy who's leaving in 2 months, who won't even be here to keep promises. He shook his head. No, I need something more permanent. Like what? Tommy asked, his voice tight. Diego smiled, and Marcus felt ice water in his veins. Miguel works for me. Does what I say, when I say it. He wants to be close to my family so bad, he can be part of my organization. That's the price. No, Marcus said immediately. That's not happening. Then we do this the hard way. Diego's men moved closer, hands going to pockets where weapons waited. Miguel pushed past Marcus. I'll do it. Miguel? I said I'll do it. Miguel looked at Diego. I work for you. You let me see Carmen. That's the deal? That's the deal. And your boys walk away clean. Diego extended his hand. We got an understanding? Marcus watched Miguel shake Diego Santos's hand and felt the summer die right there in Crotona Park. The sound of children playing in the distance seemed to come from another world, one they'd just lost access to forever. Diego and his crew walked away, Miguel with them. He looked back once, his eyes meeting Marcus's, and there was apology there, and defiance, and something that looked like relief. We have to stop him, Ray said quietly. How? Tommy's voice was hollow. You heard the deal. Miguel made his choice. Marcus stood there, watching his friend disappear into the trees with Diego Santos, feeling the weight of the acceptance letter in his pocket like an anchor. 2 months. He had 2 months before Colombia, before his new life started. 2 months to figure out how to save Miguel from himself. The sun beat down mercilessly, and somewhere in the distance, someone opened the fire hydrant again. The summer of 1969 had just begun, and already everything was falling apart.